Good morning, students. We are doing our chapter chemical coordination and integration, and in this chapter also we are doing with our endocrine glands. So up to here we have talked about thyroid gland, parathyroid gland, adrenal gland and hypothalamus gland. The gland which we are going to discuss today is pituitary gland. We will try to complete pineal gland also. So let's start. The first gland which for today is pituitary gland. Where this gland is located? It is going to be located in our brain. It is present below the hypothalamus part and it is attached with the very fine stalk that is known as infundibulum. जब हमने brain पढ़ा था, at that time we saw that infundibulum is there, a stalk-like structure is there, and below this stalk-like structure, this pituitary gland is present. And this infundibulum is in continuity with the hypothalamus gland. So these are in continuity. If we talk about the origin, so origin of this pituitary gland is, it is going to be arising from the ectoderm of the embryo. So it is ectodermal in origin. Now let's talk about the characteristics of this pituitary gland. Always remember, this is the smallest gland that is present. The largest one is thyroid gland and the smallest one is pituitary gland. See, pituitary gland को जब हम मेजरली डिवाइड करते हैं तो here two lobes are present. pituitary gland के दो मेन पार्ट्स हैं, दो मेन लोब्स हैं और दोनों ही लोब्स का ओरिजिन डिफरेंट है. One lobe is present anteriorly, second lobe is present posteriorly. So दो मेन lobes present हैं. These two lobes are anterior lobe of pituitary and it is also known as adenohypophysis. जो सेकेंड लोब प्रेजेंट है दैट इज पोस्टीरियर लोब ऑफ पिट्यूटरी and this posterior lobe of pituitary is neurohypophysis. And I told you दोनों ही lobes का origin different होता है. जो anterior lobe of pituitary होता है that is going to be developed from the dorsal wall of stomatium of the embryo. We will discuss what it means. It is going to originate from the dorsal wall of stomatium of the embryo. See, this is the part of the embryo from which the gut is going to arise. And this part, the dorsal side of this part is responsible for giving rise to the anterior lobe of pituitary. And this anterior lobe of pituitary is large in size and it is making almost 70% of the complete pituitary gland, or we can say it is making just more than 70% से 75% of the pituitary gland. जो हमारा posterior lobe of pituitary gland है that has originated from the outgrowth of the floor of diencephalon, and that is the smaller one and it is composing almost 25% of the pituitary gland. So major of the portion is covered by anterior lobe and less portion is covered by posterior lobe. जो anterior lobe है वो anterior और posterior के बीच में एक छोटा सा lobe बनाता है, that is part of anterior lobe, but that is known as intermediate lobe. This intermediate lobe is part of anterior lobe of pituitary. Now these lobes of pituitary, they are joined, they are connected with hypothalamus. दोनों ही hypothalamus के साथ connected होते हैं. जो हमारा anterior lobe of pituitary है, that is connected with the hypothalamus with the help of hypophyseal portal system. I am just rubbing it and writing again. एंटीरियर एज वेल एज पोस्टीरियर लोब. जस्ट रिमेंबर दोनों ही लोब्स कनेक्टेड हैं हाइपोथैलेमस के साथ. जो हमारा एंटीरियर लोब है दैट इज कनेक्टेड विद हाइपोथैलेमस with the help of hypophyseal portal system. That simply means कि hypothalamus से blood anterior lobe of pituitary तक आता है और hypothalamus जो न्यूरो हॉर्मोन्स रिलीज करती है, these न्यूरो हॉर्मोन्स are going to be carried by blood to anterior lobe. We have already seen when we talked about hypothalamus that hypothalamus is going to releasing hormones and inhibitory hormones which are affecting the functioning of anterior lobe of pituitary. So hypothalamus से blood neuro hormones को carry करके लेके आता है और वो anterior lobe of pituitary की functioning को control करता है. जो posterior lobe होता है, पिट्यूटरी का पोस्टीरियर लोब है, दैट इज कनेक्टेड विद हाइपोथैलेमस विद द हेल्प ऑफ एक्सोन्स. सो जो एक्सोनल टर्मिनल्स हैं, दीज एक्सोनल टर्मिनल्स आर गोइंग टू एम्बेड इन द पोस्टीरियर लोब ऑफ पिट्यूटरी. हाइपोथैलेमस से एक्सोन्स एक्सटेंड करते हैं एंड दे आर गोइंग टू टर्मिनेट इन द पोस्टीरियर लोब ऑफ पिट्यूटरी. सो विद दीज एक्सोन्स द हाइपोथैलेमस इज कनेक्टेड विद द पोस्टीरियर लोब ऑफ pituitary. Now different lobe of pituitary are going to be responsible for the secretion of different hormones and their target organs are also going to be different. So we are going to discuss about the hormones that are released by anterior lobe of pituitary first, then we will talk about the intermediate lobe of pituitary and lastly we are going to discuss about the posterior lobe of pituitary. So I want to discuss that in a tabular form to make it quick and easy to understand. These are the hormones that are released by anterior lobe of pituitary. Over here I have written the name of the hormones that are released by anterior lobe of pituitary, the function that are performed by these hormones and the target cells, the target site where they are going to target, they are going to function. So let's talk about them one by one. The first one is growth hormone. Growth hormone is also known as somatotrophin. What this growth hormone is going to do? This growth hormone is facilitating the growth of the body, and growth of the body is because protein synthesis is required for growth. There will be more and more use of calcium because development of bones is going to take place. जब ग्रोथ होगी तो बोन्स की डेवलपमेंट रिक्वायर्ड है, सो कैल्शियम एब्जॉर्प्शन इज नेसेसरी. देन ग्लाइकोजन फॉर ग्रोथ, मोर एनर्जी इज रिक्वायर्ड, सो ग्लाइकोजन इज कन्वर्टेड इनटू ग्लूकोज. दिस इज हैपनिंग अंडर द इन्फ्लुएंस ऑफ ग्रोथ हार्मोन एंड द सेल्स विच आर इन्वॉल्व्ड इन ग्रोथ, दे आर अफेक्टेड बाय दिस ग्रोथ हार्मोन. The second hormone is thyroid stimulating hormone. As the name is suggesting, this thyroid stimulating hormone is going to stimulate the thyroid gland to activate its, to secrete its hormones. The thyroid hormones are released by thyroid gland under the influence of this thyroid stimulating hormone. So it is going to affect the cells of thyroid for the release of T4, T3 and thyrocalcitonin. Next one is adrenocorticotropic hormone. This is going to activate or stimulate the adrenal cortex. We have already talked about adrenal cortex. Mineralocorticoids, glucocorticoids, gonadocorticoids are secreted by this adrenal cortex. So pituitary is going to activate this adrenal cortex and it is going to be responsible for the secretion of its hormones. Next one is prolactin hormone. This prolactin hormone is known as hormone of maternity. That means whenever a female is pregnant, this hormone is responsible for the development of breast, mammary glands, and after birth of a child it is also involved in lactation, secretion of milk. That's why it is known as hormone of maternity and it is going to influence the mammary glands. The next one is gonadotrophic hormone. This gonadotrophic hormone is going to target the gonads and they will be responsible for the release of FSH, that is follicle stimulating hormone, and second one is LH, that is luteinizing hormone. So gonads are going to be responsible, they are going to influence the gonads. What this FSH is going to do, this FSH is responsible for the maturation of ovum. So it is going to initiate the maturation of ovarian follicle. Maturation of ovarian follicle, that is performed by FSH, release of estrogen and sperm secretion. These are the functions that are performed by, that are initiated by FSH, that are coming under the influence of FSH. This luteinizing hormone is responsible for the secretion of progesterone from corpus luteum. And second one is it is going to activate the Leydig cells or interstitial cells to release testosterone. These are the functions of LH. So this is how the different hormones of anterior lobe of pituitary are going to function. And if you notice in this table, most of the hormones of anterior lobe of pituitary are controlling the functioning of other glands of our body. That's why pituitary is known as the master gland, because it is going to control the functioning of different glands of our body. Next comes the intermediate lobe of pituitary gland. Hormone of intermediate lobe of pituitary gland is melanocyte stimulating hormone. This is the only hormone that is released by intermediate lobe. Now this melanocyte stimulating hormone in most of the organisms, like in fishes is there, it is responsible for the dispersal of pigments. So that is giving different color to the organism. So it is going to impart color. In men, this is responsible for the stimulation of formation of melanocytes. That is also imparting skin color. So this is the only hormone that is secreted by intermediate lobe of pituitary. Next comes the last one, that is hormones of posterior lobe. Now just remember one thing over here, that posterior lobe of pituitary hormones release नहीं करता है. The hormones are released by hypothalamus. Hormones hypothalamus release करता है, and this hypothalamus is going to, through the axon, it is going to transmit these hormones to posterior lobe of pituitary, and they will get stored in posterior lobe. There are two such hormones, oxytocin and vasopressin, or also known as ADH, which are released by hypothalamus, but they are getting stored in posterior lobe of pituitary, and later on these are secreted by this posterior lobe of pituitary. So one such hormone is oxytocin, that is also known as birth hormone, because during time of birth it is responsible for uterine contraction, and uterine contraction is helpful in birth of an individual. So it is released at the time of the birth. It is also helping in the development of mammary glands and milk secretion. So only at this time period oxytocin will be released, otherwise oxytocin is not going to be present. So this is released by hypothalamus but present in posterior lobe of pituitary. And the second one is ADH or vasopressin. It's antidiuretic hormone. What this ADH or vasopressin is going to do? It is going to stimulate different parts of nephron like distal convoluted tubules, collecting ducts to absorb more and more water. So it is stimulating DCT and collecting duct to absorb water from the filtrate. So when more and more absorption of water is there, then what will happen? What will happen? Excuse me. There will be increase in blood pressure. So this is what ADH is going to do. This ADH is increasing blood pressure, blood volume also. So these are some of the hormones that are released by intermediate lobe of pituitary and posterior lobe of pituitary. Now again there are some of the disorders that are associated with the hyper or hypo secretion of these hormones. So we are going to discuss about the disorders that are related to these hormones, pituitary disorders. The first one is pituitary dwarfism. Pituitary dwarfism is simply occurring because of the less secretion of growth hormone somatotrophin from the time of birth of an individual. बर्थ के टाइम से ही ग्रोथ हार्मोन की डेफिशिएंसी होती है, जिसकी वजह से इंडिविजुअल की ग्रोथ प्रॉपर नहीं होती है, and because of this improper growth the individual will be small in height, individual is going to be dwarf. Now I have already told you कि जो dwarfism condition पिट्यूटरी में ग्रोथ हार्मोन की डेफिशिएंसी की वजह से होती है, दैट इज़ नॉट फॉलोड बाय मेंटल रिटार्डेशन, और जो थायराइड हार्मोन की डेफिशिएंसी की वजह से ग्रोथ रिड्यूस होती है, दैट इज़ फॉलोड बाय मेंटल रिटार्डेशन. सो हेयर बिकॉज ऑफ डेफिशिएंसी ऑफ ग्रोथ हार्मोन बोन्स और मसल्स प्रॉपरली ग्रो नहीं करते हैं, सो इंडिविजुअल की हाइट इंक्रीज नहीं होती है. द सेकेंड कंडीशन इज गिगेंटिज्म. Gigantism is just reverse of dwarfism because of excessive secretion of growth hormone from the time of birth is leading to extreme growth of bones and muscles. So individual is going to have height more than the average height, that is gigantism. So it is increased secretion of growth hormone. So these two situations are occurring when it is taking place from the time of birth. Now the third situation is acromegaly. Acromegaly is also increased secretion of growth hormone, but this increased secretion of growth hormone is taking place आफ्टर अ इंडिविजुअल हैज़ डेवलप्ड अप टू द एडोलिसेंट स्टेज। सो एक इंडिविजुअल अडल्ट स्टेज तक नॉर्मली डेवलप करता है, ग्रोथ हार्मोन का लेवल नॉर्मल रहता है, लेकिन एडोलिसेंस के बाद ग्रोथ हार्मोन का लेवल इंक्रीज हो जाता है एक्सक्यूज मी, जिसकी वजह से बॉडी के डिफरेंट पार्ट्स लाइक लिम्स, चिन, they are going to grow excessively. That condition is known as acromegaly. So it is increase in growth hormone, secretion of growth hormone after adult stage. Next one is diabetes insipidus. This diabetes insipidus is occurring because of the less secretion of ADH. ADH was promoting water absorption. तो अगर ADH की deficiency होती है तो water absorption facilitate नहीं होगा and more water of the body will be removed out in form of urine. That is leading to dehydration and excessive thirst. Now that is different from diabetes mellitus, because in diabetes mellitus we will observe that there is presence of glucose in urine, and in diabetes insipidus no glucose will be present in urine. So they are different from each other. That is caused because of deficiency of insulin, and this one is caused because of the deficiency of ADH. Now the next one is Simon disease. Simon disease is occurring because of the gradual degeneration of anterior lobe of pituitary. So all the hormones that are degeneration of anterior lobe of pituitary, hormones that are released by anterior lobe of pituitary are going to be affected in this type of condition, and there is a high level of ADH. High level of ADH means that more and more water is going to be absorbed, concentrated urine is going to be produced in this situation. So these are some of the disorders that are related to our pituitary gland because of hypo or hyper secretion of the pituitary hormones. Now the next gland which we are going to discuss is pineal gland, that is also present in brain. It is also known as epiphysis. So this pineal gland is present in brain between the cerebral hemispheres. So in brain between cerebral hemisphere. If we talk about say its origin, it is also ectodermal in origin. Now we are not knowing much more about this pineal gland, but the hormone which this pineal gland is going to release is melatonin hormone. मेलाटोनिन हार्मोन हमारी स्लीपिंग को कंट्रोल करता है, इट इज़ गोइंग टू कंट्रोल आवर स्लीप. अगर हम हार्मोन का लेवल देखते हैं, देन दिस हार्मोन इज गोइंग टू द सिक्रीशन इज गोइंग टू इंक्रीज इन इवनिंग, it is continuing during the night time, and when day is there then the secretion is going to decrease. So whenever light is there, मेलाटोनिन का सिक्रीशन डिक्रीज हो जाता है और लाइट की एब्सेंस में उसका सिक्रीशन इंक्रीज हो जाता है. So it is working as a clock. Day and night system is working in the secretion of melatonin hormone. That's why we are calling it as biological clock that is regulating our circadian rhythm. हमारी जो डे और नाइट का रूटीन होता है उसको कौन कंट्रोल करता है? ये मेलाटोनिन हार्मोन कंट्रोल करता है. दिस इज व्हाट वी आर नोइंग अबाउट दिस मेलाटोनिन हार्मोन. सो सिंपली रिमेंबर, इट इज गोइंग टू कंट्रोल आवर स्लीप. During the dark time, during evening and night, the secretion is going to be high. During daytime, the secretion is going to reduce. So working as a clock inside the body of a living organism, that's why we are using the term biological clock. And this biological clock is maintaining our day and night rhythm. That is our circadian rhythm. This is what we are knowing about pineal gland. And next gland of our today's discussion is thymus. Writing over here. If we see this thymus gland is, when an individual is born, then the weight of thymus gland is, newborn baby is almost 10 to 15 gram. When an individual is going to grow into adult, it weight reaches around 50 gram. But after adolescence, the weight is going to reduce. Adolescence stage के बाद इसका weight gradually reduce होना start होता है. And in old individuals, again it is going to come in almost at 10 gram. So this continuous gradual reduce in weight of the thymus gland is known as atrophy. So thymus gland is going to show atrophy. तो अगर हम adults में देखें तो thymus gland का size ज़्यादा है, उसमें weight ज़्यादा है. जैसे जैसे उसके बाद एज बढ़ती है, thymus gland is going to reduce in size and weight is going to decrease. Where this thymus gland is present? It is going to be present in the chest region. हमारी जो स्टर्नम है जिससे रिब्स अटैच्ड है, उस स्टर्नम के पीछे प्रेजेंट है ये थाइमस ग्लैंड. So it is present in the chest region. If we talk about its origin of thymus gland is endoderm of the embryo. Again, this thymus gland is a pinkish soft gland that is present in lobes. The main function this thymus gland is going to do is, there is maturation of lymphocytes. Lymphocytes are those WBCs which are going to function against a foreign antigen जो हमारी बॉडी का immune system बनाती हैं. So this thymus gland is responsible for the maturation of lymphocytes. And the lymphocytes that are being matured in the thymus gland, they are called T lymphocytes. And for their proper maturation, the maturation is stimulated by a hormone called thymosin. So thymus gland is responsible for the secretion of hormone thymosin, and this thymosin is stimulating the maturation of these lymphocytes. And because of this continuous reduction in the size of thymus gland, the number of lymphocytes that are going to mature in thymus gland are also going to reduce. So the old individuals are having weak immune response because of less lymphocytes as compared to the adult individuals. So this is how thymus gland is showing gradual atrophy. Next gland is kidney. We know that pair of kidney are present in the abdomen region on the back side, and these kidney are mesodermal in origin. They are derived from mesoderm of the embryo. Kidney are also responsible for secretion of various hormones like renin, that is different from the renin which we talked about in digestive system, that is RENNIN, and here I am written RENIN. Erythropoietin, and the third one that is secreted by it is calcitriol. So these are the hormones that are released by kidney. Now let's see what functions these are going to perform. See, renin kidney उस टाइम पे रिलीज करती है जब जो नेफ्रॉन में फिल्ट्रेशन है that is going to decrease. The ultrafiltration, when there is less pressure, less blood volume, ultrafiltration is going to reduce. At that time kidney are going to release this renin from the juxtaglomerular apparatus. हम already बात कर चुके हैं juxtaglomerular apparatus के बारे में. This renin is going to act upon angiotensinogen. So after affecting this angiotensinogen, it is converting it into its activated form, that is angiotensin 2. This is the inactivated form and this is the activated one. This angiotensin is responsible for the constriction of arterioles, that is increasing blood pressure, plus it is responsible for the absorption of water in nephrons, that is also increasing blood volume. And because of this increase in blood volume and blood pressure, the ultrafiltration rate is going to increase. This is how renin is functioning. Now erythropoietin is responsible for erythropoiesis. Erythropoiesis क्या है? RBC formation that is taking place in bone marrow. तो जब भी बॉडी में ऑक्सीजन की डेफिशिएंसी होती है, देयर इज शॉर्टेज ऑफ ऑक्सीजन, then kidney are going to release erythropoietin, and this erythropoietin is stimulating the bone marrow to release more RBCs to counteract the deficiency of oxygen. And last one is calciterol, that is the active form of vitamin D. This calciterol is responsible for more and more absorption of calcium and phosphorus and bone formation. This is the function of calcitriol. So these are the hormones that are released by kidney. That's all for today. In next class we are going to discuss some more endocrine glands that are left.